So I'm jumping onto Jenny the Doctor's Daughter box sets with Season 3. I've not listened to Season 1, I've not listened to Season 2, so take this review with a grain of salt. But I will say, if you want a fun time travel adventure with a female main character who can literally speak unicorn, this might be right up your alley. Hello ladies and gentlemen, my name is Mr. TARDIS and welcome back to my Big Finish reviews as I make my way through the epic 2024 back catalogue. And now we are at Jenny the Doctor's Daughter Series 3 Saving Time. I have not listened to Series 1 or Series 2 still running, so I'm jumping on at number 3 Saving Time. So like I said, take this review with a slight grain of salt. I do not know what has been happening with Jenny the Doctor's Daughter and her human companion from nowhere called Noah, played by Sean Biggerstaff. I do not know what a Colt 5000 is, which apparently is this cyborg creature that has been tracking them both down, and the cliffhanger ending of Series 2 still running apparently had Noah turned into the Colt 5000, pursuing Jenny in a spaceship where she managed to escape from some escapades. So I'm not able to talk about Doctor's Daughter and companion relationships or the dynamics that have been growing presumably over the past 3 box sets, which have been released over the course of the past 6 years. We do also have some other Doctor's Daughter appearances in Once and Future and the 8th of March. Those I have listened to. But yeah, so this is a series starring the Doctor's daughter, played by Georgia Tennant, who you may remember from Series 4 back in 2008 in the episode The Doctor's Daughter. She's shot and killed in that episode, but is revived by Time Lord Magic and is apparently still running across the universe. She thought she escaped the cyborg assassin known as the Colt 5000, which had taken the form of her companion Noah, which means that Series 3 Saving Time opens with a bang. We do have 4 stories in this box set. Florence O'Connor and the Sandwich of Doom by John Dorney, A Beginner's Guide to Monsters and How to Slay Them by Roshana Patel, Genesis of the Humans by Adrian Poynton, and Reboot by Lizzie Hopley. While these 4 are essentially standalone stories, they do technically lead one into the other, and according to dialogue in the story, with the exception of Reboot, they almost take place over the course of a single day. Just bang, 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 back to back to back adventures. So Florence O'Connor and the Sandwich of Doom, the actual title of the episode, opens with Jenny being hunted by the Colt 5000, and then time is frozen around her and she steps through a portal, which takes her to this timeshare organization, which is run by, and get this, talking guinea pigs called Margosia. And yes, I said guinea pigs called Margosia because they are a collective. Essentially 1,000 of the same guinea pigs, which are split across their own timelines at different points in their lives, who are keeping time in order behind the scenes through some administrative process. All of them being the same being, voiced by Elizabeth Bauer. And they work in a literal, quote, timeshare, which is incredibly fun as far as puns go. Through some bureaucracy, through some admin, Margosia and Jenny discover that in order to reassert time back to its normal place, where the Colt 5000 is no longer Noah and is not hunting them anymore, Jenny has to go back in time to 1990s London and ensure that librarian Florence O'Connor, played by Jessica Reagan, eats a cheese and pickle sandwich. That's the plot.
This place is very strange.
Imagine how we feel meeting you. Just the one of you, is there?
At the moment, yes.
Astounding. How do you ever get anything done?
Well, I have done something, that's sort of the problem.
Yes. Best friend turned killer cyborg, isn't it? If I remember rightly. Gosh, you'd be amazed how often that one turns up.
But you can fix it.
Of course. It's just a question of a nudge in the right place. Let me see now. Noah, wasn't it?
Yes.
Noah, mixed up in time, travels with Jenny. There.
Now what?
Now we find out what you have to do. Yes, according to this document, to restore your friend whilst keeping Geraldine safe and generally not messing up anything else, you need to make sure that Florence O'Connor buys a cheese and pickle sandwich rather than a chicken Caesar.
You're kidding me.
Now that sounds absolutely ridiculous, but Florence O'Connor and the Sandwich of Doom is clearly having fun with the idea of the butterfly effect, or chaos theory, where these really small inconsequential actions actually cascade into massive ramifications and massive outcomes. This council librarian Florence buying a cheese and pickle sandwich as opposed to the more expensive chicken Caesar one means that she's got some more change which she can give to a homeless person who will live longer because she's able to get off the streets, and then that will somehow, in the long run, prevent the Colt 5000 from becoming Noah. And apparently the moment that Florence O'Connor buys the cheese and pickle sandwich, time will snap back into place. And if Jenny fixes the timeline, she won't need to have gone back to the 1990s in order to solve and fix the problem, which means somehow there's no paradox. And the episode firmly lampshade hangs the idea of cause and effect and timey-wimey stuff that the Doctor Who universe tries for the most part to take a bit more seriously. Like I said, I'm jumping on at Series 3. I think I listened to Stolen Goods by Matt Fitton in 2020 because I believe that's the story that was released as part of the Big Finish lockdowns, where every week they released a episode or a standalone audio drama, you know, during the pandemic. I don't remember anything about it. That was like nearly 5 years ago. I apologize. But my impression of the Jenny the Doctor's Daughter series, just through the eyes of this box set, is that it is much more interested in playing and experimenting with timey-wimey stuff rather than just sticking to the rules. And I think that Florence O'Connor and the Sandwich of Doom is a great case study in that, because it changes timelines throughout the entirety of the story, which can throw a bunch of narrative curveballs in. You've got the Colt 5000, which ends up taking the form of multiple characters over the course of the story as these small minor events over the course of Florence O'Connor's day. Just this unassuming Irish librarian living in London who is just in the middle of all of this chaos being forced to buy a cheese and pickle sandwich by these complete strangers. It's just bedlam. It's fun because the cast are completely game for it. Jessica Regan is great as Florence. You've got the co-librarian Colleen, played by Sarah Paul, who's really fun as well. Once you get past the first act with Jenny and the Margosier trying to fix the timeline and trying to establish the stakes and what needs to be done over the course of the story just then after that doesn't let up, as it's just a run around through 1990s London as Jenny tries to get Florence to buy a cheese and pickle sandwich. And everybody involved is aware of how manic and crazy and strange the situation is, and I think that commitment to it, the lampshade hanging, is what causes the story to hold together, to maintain the integrity over the 60-minute runtime. And it does a really effective job of setting the tone for the rest of the box set, which is essentially Douglas Adams meets Doctor Who, which of course is like, you know, late 1970s Doctor Who when he was the script editor, of course, except this time it wears the more absurdist inspirations on its sleeve throughout, including the absurdity of Jenny as a character and kind of like a Mary Sue, particularly in the second story, A Beginner's Guide to Monsters and in brackets, and How to Slay Them, close brackets, by Roshana Patel. Now, I don't want to say that Jenny is a Mary Sue in the way that the internet traditionally considers her to be a Mary Sue, i.e. a female character who exists in a story, which honestly, let's face it, over the past nearly 10 years of internet media discourse is just what Mary Sue means now. But no, in A Beginner's Guide to Monsters and How to Slay Them, you've got Jenny and her companion Noah kind of lampshade hanging the absurd chain of events that caused Jenny to exist and the slight ego that it's given her. Jenny and Noah land in Bavaria in 1265 AD. You know, all of these stories, a lot of time hopping, where they stumble across Thomas, played by Liam Lowe Fernandez, who has been tasked by a local monastery to do illustrations of these creatures which are appearing out of nowhere, which are being caged and are frequently escaping and chasing him down. He has to do illustrations of these mythical creatures, like manticores, like basilisks, like unicorns, and playing into the idea of time being this almost mushy, corporeal plaything of the universe for Jenny, the book at the heart of the story is a transcendental bestiary, which is constantly in flux, with illustrations changing, with even the author and the illustrator of the book changing because time is messing around, and in some scenarios one illustrator is killed and replaced with another one, and then the book changes right in front of them. It's really fascinating stuff, even if it is predominantly played for whimsy and laughs. And the lampshade hanging of the spin-off in and of itself as a format and Jenny as a protagonist is extended to Jenny and Noah finding a 1990s red telephone box in London and transforming it into a space-time machine called Janice, Jenny and Noah's interdimensional spaceship.
All I need to do is wire in the burnt-out time jumper to the telephone's duplex coil and then hook up the temporarily unstable book. And hey presto, we now have a fully functioning time machine. So, come on, get in.
Shame it's not bigger on the inside.
Okay, I just need to get to that keypad. There we go. Enter the coordinates, and we can leave 1997 before anyone comes looking for us. Okay, so, Noah, all of time and space. Where do you want to go?
I don't know, somewhere nice, where nothing's trying to kill us.
So somewhere boring.
Yeah, please, that'd be awesome.
Okay, boring it is. Oh, I've heard great things about the Eye of Orion. Some people consider it to be the dullest place in the entire universe.
Is it supposed to sound like that?
No idea. I doubt anyone's ever flown anything this much together before.
But it's safe, right?
Who cares?
I care?
I'm on the run in a time machine disguised as a telephone box, having defeated an evil cyborg with the help of my plucky sidekick. This is who I was born to be.
Sidekick?
Friend, sorry.
Is that how you see me?
What? No! We're in this together. You and me, a team.
Jenny, with all her courage and amazing Time Lord abilities, and me, with my astonishing lack of backstory.
And what follows is, very similarly to the first story, another runaround, but with some mythical creatures involved as well. And the box set seems to have a lot on its mind in regards to Jenny as a main character, where it is more committed to the pure absurdism and the lampshade hanging than Doctor Who itself is, where you've got this younger kung fu action protagonist who can at one point literally speak to a unicorn, and Noah is like, you are the Doctor's daughter, do you ever want to be more of yourself? And in some respects, particularly an encounter that Jenny has with a basilisk, her self-confidence, her knowing that she's the spin-off protagonist of Doctor Who, means that she ends up biting more than she can chew, which means that Noah often has to rein her in. And I find that dynamic really interesting and fascinating, because this could have been essentially just a gender reductionist type of spin-off, where you've got the hyper-competent female main character and the bumbling but well-meaning male supporting sidekick character. But the dynamics that unfold over the course of this box set, particularly some of the dreamscapes that you find in the third story that we'll talk about in a minute, I think that the commentary on that it indicates that the Doctor's Daughter spin-off box set has a lot more on its mind than you might initially think. And A Beginner's Guide to Monsters and How to Slay Them is another fun run-around adventure which time hops, which deals with the themes of religion and a genuinely fun wordplay when it comes to the Bible and Noah. You'll probably understand what I'm getting at here, but it almost sounds like maybe Roshana Patel just saw the name Noah and just engineered the story out of that pun. And then this leads into Genesis of the Humans by Adrian Poynton, where Jenny and Noah find themselves reunited with Dorian Moldova, who you may remember from series 6 of Doctor Who. He's the big blue guy who's the crime mob boss, who's the financier. Presumably these adventures take place pre-decapitation. Dorian has another mission for Jenny and Noah, and that involves another reunion with Garandel, played by Stuart Milligan, who is this talking salamander criminal mob boss underworld type of guy, who I've heard in other stories. Most recently, he was part of Ace's 7th Doctor attack squad in The Last Day Part 1 and The Last Day Part 2. That's a sentence I'd never thought I'd say, and despite listening to those two box sets, I still don't understand it. And Garandel introduces Jenny and Noah to Theo, played by Emil Dew, who is apparently the most important human in all of creation. Apparently, Jexable Gleiss, voiced by Anna Lundberg, is the richest and most powerful woman in all of the universe, and she wants to get her hands on Theo in order to extract the DNA from him, because apparently it's pure, unfiltered, uncorrupted humanity. And in order to save Theo and change his DNA and biology from the inside, Jenny and Noah have to get shrunk and go inside of Theo's body in order to convince his slightly sentient biology to change from within.
Did you say the genetic code for all humanity?
Your dainty-ish little ears do not deceive. But not a DNA code like most humanoids have now, all tainted and corrupted by time and evolution. No, Theo was created as the genesis of humanity. The template, the loom, the perfect form to prune and prod and tweak and build all other human life from.
And you've got him serving drinks.
Your tea, Jenny? Be careful. It is rather hot.
Thank you. Yeah, that is delightful. Theo, won't you sit with us?
If nobody minds.
Oh, please, go ahead. We've got some time.
Is this all true, what Garfunkel tells us?
Honestly, I don't know. But he says it's true, so I believe him.
You'll grow out of that.
Noah. Garandel, how do you know all this about Theo?
Oh, legend, rumor, chance, all the good stuff.
So you've got this fun journey to the centre of the earth / into the Dalek homage story where Jenny and Noah go inside of Theo's unique biology, which conjures up these really interesting dreamscapes around them in order to distract them from their actual mission. They find themselves in scenarios which are meant to be their happy place, their dream place where they want to be, so that they don't go out and actually change Theo's biology. Jenny finds herself alone on Gallifrey, despite never actually seeing it or knowing what Gallifrey is, whereas Noah finds himself on the deck of a spaceship with Jenny by his side, going off on adventures. All the while, Theo, who has no control over the inner workings of his body, in the same way how you would not be able to stop your white blood cells from attacking an infection, for example, he's just constantly apologetic, while Jenny and Noah try and work their way through his body. It's a really fascinating idea. Like I said, it has allusions to Journey to the Centre of the Earth, but only in the superficial elements of the inciting incident resulting in these two being shrunk down and having to explore something. And of course, the implications of what Jenny and Noah separately want from their adventures together causes a bit of a rift between them, which pushes their relationship to the edge, leading to a really interesting cliffhanger ending, leading into the final story, Reboot by Lizzie Hopley. I won't play any clips from Reboot because it is the final chapter of a 4-part story. I don't know if there's such a thing as a spoiler-free clip in the context of this type of review, but Jenny and Noah have to now take down Jexabel Gleiss, who is the head of Gleiss Corp, where Earth Mark II is owned by Jexabel and everything is branded with her Gleiss name. She'll stop at nothing to get her hands on this human DNA from the last story, whereas Jenny is trapped on the Earth of Gleiss's creation, where she has to raise virtual children. And the idea of Reboot is that the Gleiss Corp doesn't want children to suck up all of the resources of humanity, but still wants to run a capitalist society where people buy all the baby stuff and buy everything they need to raise a family. And while some of Lizzie Hopley's script is played for laughs, the idea of a corporation forcing people to have virtual children just to maintain capitalism, and of course the patriarchal hierarchy of women staying at home to look after the kids, it's such a great idea in depicting a late capitalism hellscape. I'm kind of amazed that Black Mirror or an equivalent series hasn't depicted this before. And the end result is a really fun and satisfying final chapter of the box set. I think that Anna Lundberg as Jexabel is chewing the scenery, is clearly having so much fun with the material. I kind of wish she wasn't just relegated to this single episode in the box set to really show off what she's like as a villain. I kind of wish that maybe she had a bit more of a presence in the previous stories. But yeah, Reboot is a really satisfying finale which does test the Jenny and Noah dynamic in ways I can't get into because of major spoiler reasons. But what I will say is that the end of the box set alludes to a different dynamic between the two and, the status quo moving forward for these box sets and what the potential family dynamic could be, and then thinks, no, sod that, let's stick to this one. Which I think, once again, leads into the interesting gender politics of the box set. Like I said, you do have these stories with a protagonist who can talk to unicorns with these strange artificially intelligent children and a cheese and pickle sandwich of doom, and you do have that absurdism, but I do think there's a lot more on these stories' minds than you might otherwise think. If you just want the fun adventures, then I think you're going to get them, but, there is a little bit more meat to chew on there, and that's a pretty fascinating dynamic. I don't think that I would have listened to this box set had it not been provided to me for a review copy by Big Finish, but I'm glad I did. I don't know if the previous box sets lean into this absurdist tone or the subversive gender politics, but the cast are really game for the material throughout all of the stories. It's always fun to have Simon Fisher Becker reprise the role of Dorium as well, and I had a good time with it. I think some of my descriptions of the plot over the course of this review may be completely repulsive to some people who, you know, maybe aren't a fan of the Douglas Adams type of absurdism and lampshade hanging. And if you like that, I can safely say steer clear from Jenny the Doctor's Daughter Series 3 Saving Time, but anybody else who seems mildly curious about it, maybe give it a go. I do not know if Saving Time is a good jumping on point, but, you know, I was still able to pick up the nuts and bolts of the story and the dynamic, so, you know, maybe you can join in. But, you know, you can get these 2 previous box sets as well. I've not listened to them. I can't endorse them. So, but yeah, it's up to you. It's a free country for now. So thank you so much for watching my review. Let me know in the comment section below if you've listened to Jenny the Doctor's Daughter Series 3 Saving Time, or any other Jenny the Doctor's Daughters box sets from Big Finish. Do you think she should return to the TV series proper, or do you think it might be a bit too late for that now? Let me know in the comment section below. Like the video, subscribe if you haven't already. I'll see you folks next time.